Hey all, this is Pickleball on Call, here with a quick consult. This is JoySent Pickleball's new GearFoam Max, a $117 Gen 4 paddle that delivers optimized feedback, relatively good control, and a lot of hidden potential. Stay tuned because I'll be giving away this exact paddle at the end of the video. As a disclaimer, JoySent did send me this paddle for free. I did not receive any compensation, and JoySent did not have any input in this review. As always, the testing and opinions you're about to see are my own. So with all that being said, let's get straight into the data. The JoySent GearFoam Max utilizes a full-floating foam architecture that's eerily similar to Honolulu's notched foam design. At the center is a notched EPP foam core, and surrounding it, an interlocked notched EVA foam ring designed to improve flex. Near the throat and into the handle is a foam insert designed to reduce vibration. At the time of making this video, the GearFoam Max is only available in the elongated shape. Out of the box, my GearFoam Max came in at 7.97 ounces static, with a swing weight of 109.3, a twist weight of just 5.8, and a balance point of 23 centimeters. My particular unit came in extremely light and I simply could not play with it stock. To customize my paddle, I added 7.5 inches of 1 gram per inch tape from the throat all the way up the side, as well as 2 layers of overgrip. This new setup has a swing weight of 115.2 and a twist weight of 7.15, which means that it added some much needed plow and stability to an otherwise light and unstable paddle. Firepower metrics were standardized using 3 reference paddles that were tested side by side with a stock and broken-in GearFoam Max. The GearFoam Max scores an overall firepower score of 7 out of 10, which puts it at the top of the all-court category. In addition, this paddle fills a unique niche of profiles characterized by significantly more pop potential than power output. Taking a look at the data, the GearFoam Max scored just a 5 out of 10 in power, but a whopping 9.5 out of 10 in volley speed or dynamic pop. Its medium to high levels of rebound also meant that there was a very short and intuitive learning curve when it came to taking pace off of aggressive shots. But I will admit that the paddle's offensive capabilities at the kitchen will often leak through, resulting in unwanted pop-ups. The GearFoam Max utilizes an extremely fine raw carbon fiber surface that averaged a top-end spin reading of just 1,964 RPM, which translates to below average levels of spin in my database. With that being said, I did measure the surface to have a very high coefficient of friction, likely due to the amount of surface area that was in contact with my testing instruments, and this higher coefficient of friction allows it to shape balls relatively easily, even if it means top-end spin production was below average. In other words, access to spin was above average. So, taking its high offensive pop, moderate levels of rebound, and below average spin into consideration, the GearFoam Max scores a 5.5 out of 10 on my control rating. While this paddle does a good job with dinking, drops, resets, and blocks, the below average spin numbers and unstable nature of the paddle are really detrimental to its consistency and accuracy when it comes to placement. And speaking of consistency, even though the GearFoam Max's internal construction is reminiscent of Honolulu's notched foam design, the lack of stability served as a major hindrance to the paddle's performance. As a result, you end up with a 14mm paddle that has a pretty reasonable vertical sweet spot, but a really tight horizontal sweet spot that doesn't really improve with perimeter weighting. On the court, the GearFoam Max does offer a pleasantly balanced feel. I would say that it lands ever so slightly in the dense or responsive quadrant, but it still retains a nice soft and connected aspect to it that prevents it from feeling too stiff or too muted. And this paddle does take about 5 to 10 hours to break in, during which the sweet spot opens up just a little bit and the paddle takes on a soft, ever so slightly springy characteristic that some would describe as dwelly. So, at $117 after code, JoySent's GearFoam Max is better suited for players who have a preference for closing gaps quickly and dominating at the kitchen. It's not going to win you any long-distance tennis-style battles, and I did find it to be lacking in power, consistency, and spin potential. However, you do get a paddle with great access to spin and an excellent feel that transforms into something completely capable once you add a lot of weight to it. But at the end of the day, you have to keep in mind that this paddle is only for a very small subset of players, and it doesn't have any durable grit, which makes it a very difficult recommendation for me, especially when you consider the fact that more and more $100 paddles with durable grit and favorable play profiles are starting to enter the market. So, everything considered, I would have to give JoySent's GearFoam Max a final rating of 6 out of 10 10 without the weight, or 7 out of 10 once you add some perimeter weighting. While I didn't really enjoy the paddle at first, I quickly gained an appreciation for its unique play profile and balanced feel, which is why I'll be giving away this exact paddle for one of you to try. To enter this giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe, leave a like, and fill out the Google form down below. And as always, I'll announce a winner in 2 weeks' time with video verification. And that wraps up this review. Thank you all so much for being part of this community. Let me know what paddle you want me to review next, and let me know what you think about this format. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.